What's up guys and welcome back to another Wynand Crypto video. What I'm about to show is absolutely insane and it could literally transform everything we know about XRP's future. Make sure to watch this video completely till the end because this could change everything for XRP holders. The stars are literally aligning right now, and I'm not talking about some wishful thinking here. We've got insider intel from a former Ripple employee that's dropping bombshells about what's coming next. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. Let me take you back to something that's been brewing since 2022, but it's hitting different right now. This guy is a former Ripple insider, and when he speaks, we listen. Big props to Anderson for capturing these screenshots and holding on to them all this time. While some of these posts go way back to 2022, there's fresh content from April that's absolutely mind-blowing. Here's the golden nugget Bob Way dropped on us. The ISO 222 migration for cross-border payments is a massive game changer for Ripple's bank sales strategy. And guys, you can feel it, right? Everything is coming together perfectly here. Watch this. Here is exactly what Bob Way said. By November this year, unless there are delays, every single Swift-enabled bank will have completed their ISO 222 migration. And here's the kicker. This makes RippleNet integration ridiculously easy compared to before. But that's not all. We're simultaneously watching the Ripple vs SEC lawsuit reaching its final chapters, with Ripple getting complete regulatory clarity on XRP. Plus, we're expecting both stablecoin and crypto market legislation to pass in the coming months in the US. Oh, and banks can now legally custody crypto in America. Anderson nailed it when he said it's crazy seeing everything align perfectly right now, from stablecoin legislation to regulatory breakthroughs in the US and globally. Plus the XRP case wrapping up. It's all happening in 2025. Now let me break down why this ISO 222 transition is absolutely revolutionary for Ripple's banking partnerships. Here's the reality. Banks absolutely hate changing systems that already work. Why? Because change introduces risk, and risk gets bankers fired. New system development is expensive, risky, and mistakes can lead to massive losses or regulatory fines. When they're trying to sell to a bank, the person you're negotiating with needs three things: a product development budget, allocated funds, and the appetite for risk. That's a tough sell under normal circumstances. But here is where ISO 222 becomes Ripple's secret weapon. With this mandatory transition happening, suddenly that banker only needs one thing: budget money. The development funds are already allocated elsewhere because it's not optional, it's mandated. Check out what Bob Way explained about this. Nobody gets fired for following a government mandate. This makes the sales process infinitely easier for Ripple's team. Even if some banks decide to wait for the SEC settlement, their newly upgraded ISO 222 system will be perfectly positioned for Ripple's integration afterward. Let's talk about what ISO 222 actually unlocks. This isn't just some boring technical upgrade. This is the key that opens the door for blockchain integration across major traditional payment networks. We just got massive news from payment infrastructure. First Financial, a US community bank, announced their upcoming ISO 222 migration on July 14th. This is where the domino effect begins. July 14th is a critical date to watch for the Fedwire upgrade, but the real action happens toward the end of this year, when major banks complete their full rollout. Here's what Swift themselves said about blockchain integration.
One of many contributors. We are a registration authority, which means we do a lot of development work and maintenance work, but we don't own the standard. It's not restricted to the Swift network. There's a lot of market infrastructures that use ISO 222 but not using the Swift network, and a lot of institutions also use ISO internally. So it's not restricted to the Swift network. It's associated with the XML syntax, but it's syntax agnostic. So we see a lot of developments around APIs that are ISO-based. We even see blockchain developments that are built on the ISO data dictionary. So whilst XML is used at the moment, predominantly it can be used in different technologies in the future as well. And really, just in a nutshell, it's a methodology for developing financial messaging standards, and it introduces this utopian world of universal financial messaging, which is what we're all striving for at the moment with both the cross-border migration and these domestic migrations that are happening in parallel.
Smokedog shared an incredible post featuring direct quotes from Swift about ISO 222 and blockchain compatibility. Listen to this. We see blockchain developments that are built on the ISO data dictionary. It can be used in different technologies in the future as well. Swift is literally telling us that blockchains are being built on the ISO 222 standards. They're describing it as a methodology for developing financial messaging standards that introduces a utopian world of universal financial messaging. This is what we've all been waiting for, the bridge between traditional finance and blockchain technology. Here's something that will blow your mind. According to Swift, the banking industry must first adopt ISO 222 before it can adopt blockchain for payments. They literally documented this. Current messaging in traditional payment networks is honestly garbage. Swift handles messaging for 11,000 major banks worldwide, but they don't actually clear and settle transactions. They just handle the messaging layer. When messaging standards improve through ISO 222 integration, it creates the perfect environment for blockchain integration and utilization. This is absolutely massive. While all this is happening, guess what else is exploding? Stablecoin adoption across major enterprises. Intel, Apple, Airbnb, and Google are all in early discussions with crypto firms about stablecoin integration. At the exact same time, Stripe is talking to banks about using stablecoins for global payments. But here's the wild part. Major US banks, including JP Chase, Bank of America, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo are exploring a joint crypto stablecoin initiative. This timing isn't coincidental. These stablecoin initiatives are ramping up precisely because ISO 222 adoption is creating the infrastructure needed to make them reality. Banks can now launch stablecoins on public blockchains that connect seamlessly to traditional payment rails. Remember what Scott Bessent told us back in April? Let me remind you. Listen to this promise from the Treasury Secretary nominee.
We will take a close look at regulatory impediments to blockchain, stablecoins, and new payment systems, and we will consider reforms to unleash the awesome power of the American capital markets. Americans deserve a financial services industry that works for all Americans, including and especially Main Street. Under President Trump's leadership, the Treasury Department and I will deliver that to you. Thank you.
We will take a close look at regulatory impediments to blockchain, stablecoins, and new payment systems. We will consider reforms to unleash the awesome power of the American capital markets. This market is literally opening its doors to blockchain technology. Regulatory obstacles that have blocked major players for years are being systematically removed. Look at what's happening globally. Banco Industrial, Guatemala's largest bank, is integrating blockchain for instant, low-fees cross-border payments. Central banks are testing blockchain-based monetary policy using smart contracts for interest rate management, repos, and asset purchase in real time. Why are all these major banks suddenly bullish on blockchain and stablecoins? It goes back to the regulatory breakthrough we saw in March and April. US regulators completely removed barriers for banks to engage with crypto. The FDIC, the Federal Reserve, and the OCC now allow digital asset services without requiring prior approval. Banks can now offer custody services, severe crypto businesses, and use blockchain technology with proper risk controls. This is absolutely revolutionary. And you guys, I have a special trick for you, which nobody seems to be using, and I cannot wrap my head around why, because if you sign up through my link down in the description onto the BTCC exchange, you get a 10% deposit bonus, and now stay with me here. Now here comes the important part. If you have any trading capital on any other exchange, and you move it to your newly created BTCC account, you get, on top of your capital, you moved another 10% extra trading capital. As an example, so if you move or deposit 100K to your account, you get 10K for free. I'm not kidding. I really don't understand why nobody's doing this. To me, it really seems like people sometimes are too lazy or just don't like free money. I mean, like, I cannot make that account for you. You will need to do that yourself, alright? So let's jump back into the video. Here's something fascinating from Ripple board members and former employees. Stablecoins represent the future of narrowing banking. Just like the internet broke newspapers into separate components, Craigslist for classifieds, Pinterest for recipes, Substack for articles, blockchain is unbinding traditional banking into specialized services. Check out this analyst from Matt Levine about stablecoins. Matt Levine wrote an incredible piece explaining how stablecoins function as a modern form of narrow banking. You deposit dollars with a stablecoin issuer, receive tokens representing your deposit, and they invest your funds into ultra-safe assets like treasury bills or money market funds. The major stablecoin issuers have established a norm of parking deposits in the safest possible short-term dollar assets. This is reshaping how we think about banking and finance fundamentally. Here's the bottom line that ties everything together. ISO 20022 is the final piece of the puzzle. When this standard is fully adopted by the end of November 2024, assuming no delays, we're going to witness a tsunami of adoption, value, and volume flowing into cryptocurrency. This literally unlocks the gates for the world's biggest banks to launch and integrate blockchain-based services into their core business models. It's not just exciting, it's revolutionary. For Ripple specifically, this is absolutely massive. They have been building relationships with major institutional players for years, but many couldn't integrate the blockchain components of Ripple's technology due to these exact obstacles we've been discussing. I genuinely believe we're about to see everything change. Actually, the change has already started. Every major traditional company is exploring crypto. Every big bank is investigating blockchain solutions. Governments worldwide are accelerating crypto-friendly regulations. We have bills on the congressional floor right now. The infrastructure is being built as we speak, and XRP is positioned perfectly to capitalize on this massive shift. Think about where we are right now. Regulatory discussions are accelerating, technical barriers are falling, and institutional adoption is exploding. This isn't coincidence. This is the perfect storm we've been waiting for. XRP holders, this could be the moment everything changes. Guys, this is absolutely incredible to witness. We're watching the convergence of regulatory clarity, technical innovation, and institutional adoption all happening simultaneously. If this video got you as excited about XRP's future as I am, smash the like button right now. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on because we're covering all the major developments as they happen. Drop your thoughts about ISO 20022 and XRP in the comments below. I want to hear what you think about the banking revolution. You can also follow me on Twitter. Thank you very much for watching. Wynand Crypto out.